Morning, Alf. It's time to tell them about what we saw at the Durham card show and shifting gears in the hobby. I'm going to explain kind of what I've been doing a little bit differently in 2025 that has affected my overall plan, and we'll talk through the whys behind that. Before I dive in, huge thanks to our video sponsor, Pristine Auction, $25 off your first purchase over there with the SCD code. Take advantage. Sports cards, non-sports cards, all the cool pop culture stuff, everything you could possibly want. Weekly, monthly, daily 10-minute auctions over there at Pristine. Make sure to check them out. Also, if you've never submitted with PSA, take $25 off your first order. Maybe you got friends that have never submitted. Why not give them $25 off? SCD25 code at the shipping and billing screen means less money at the checkout counter for PSA grading. Who doesn't want that? All right, both of my sons joined me this past weekend at the Durham, North Carolina card show. And we have made it over to the DoubleTree Hotel for the Durham card show, and this is the Cookie Awaits bus. Apparently cookies await inside, we'll see. Actually didn't hear about this one until one of my hobby friends, Rich, thanks for reaching out to me, sending me the flyer for this, had no idea that it was even going on, and I've never been to this show over in Durham. In Raleigh, we have a couple of different shows that we have. They're mainly at the Raleigh Fairgrounds, and actually have one that's coming up this weekend as well. So we got a little bit of card show mania here locally. There's some really good North Carolina shows all over North Carolina, but here locally for me, we have kind of the Raleigh Fairgrounds stuff. We have Durham, which I went to this past weekend, and then in Cary, just down the street here, we have another one that's popped up. So card shows are flourishing here locally for me, and this has been kind of fun. So the thing I thought was really interesting, though, is this past weekend here at the DoubleTree Hotel. I had never been over there before, and it was advertised as, sports cards, Pokemon, non-sports, kind of everything, toys, kind of wrapped in all together. But when we got there, it was not exactly what I expected. Typically when I go to the Raleigh card show, and I've talked about this, normally it's mostly sports cards, and then there's Pokemon cards would be second. And yeah, there's somebody that's got comic books or action figures, that sort of a thing, and that's kind of mixed in as well. But here recently, over the last 12 to 18 months, these shows have become more and more Pokemon shows, Pokemon card shows, than ever before that I've seen over the last 5 years of going to these shows. Now, this one in particular, I walked in and this thing was literally 85 to 90% from what I could see, Pokemon cards. It wasn't 50-50. It wasn't like 70-30, like sports cards, 70-30% Pokemon. But what was funny is there was a sign that was outside that was advertising it as baseball cards and other hobby cards type thing. And I was thinking like, man, you're pretty ticked if you came here for baseball cards, because there was very little there. This was a Pokemon card show through and through. And it wasn't a huge show, maybe 100 tables, 120 tables. So this wasn't a massive show. It was further evidence to me, at least locally here. And I've been hearing this all over the country from different people going to card shows, that more and more Pokemon card dealers and also sports card folks that are getting into Pokemon as well, at least having some Pokemon at their table, kind of draw in that other audience. A lot of it. And actually, this was really refreshing. So my buddy, Brian, shout out to Brian, he joined up. He's got a son that's 11. I've got a son that's 10. They're best friends. He showed up with his son, and they had actually gone to the GameStop, because the GameStop will sell these new Prismatic Evolutions Pokemon cards to you, but it's like 1 per customer or 2 per customer or something. And Brian had literally waited like 3 hours in line to get these at the GameStop to get like 1 or 2 products. And it wasn't even kind of the ETBs that they normally come in. It was the binders, the binder products. But on the secondary market, you're paying literally double or triple what the retail cost is at the GameStop. So he went and did that, and then they met us over. But I was talking to Brian, I was like, hey, what are you guys looking for? I know for some of you, you're like, why are we talking about Pokemon cards? I will tie this in with sports card collecting here in a second, because I think it's important. So he and his son, they were there, and they have their binder. And I was like, what are you guys looking for in particular? Because they were looking for singles. And he showed me, he's like, these, and he showed me on his phone. He's got a checklist of the complete set there. And he's like, we have this one, but this card and this card are kind of like, brother-sister cards to each other. It wasn't that it was a one-of-one. It wasn't that it was a parallel. It wasn't any other reason other than his son likes these two characters that kind of go together, I guess, as part of the game or whatever it is. And I was just like, damn, if this doesn't feel like 1990 sports card collecting, then I don't know what does. So we were all kind of working together. His wife was there too, trying to find these cards to help complete their set or kind of to pair together. And they weren't even chase cards. This wasn't like a special illustration rare, an SIR, or some sort of a holo. It wasn't necessarily any sort of a chase card. It was just these characters go together. And that really opened my eyes. Because as we've seen in the world of sports cards, we've talked about it ad nauseum here. A lot of it is, based around lottery tickets and one-of-ones and, chase cards and that sort of thing. There's certainly chase cards in Pokemon, don't get me wrong. But it's refreshing to see people walking around with binders. And he actually brought his binder of cards, looking to trade with other people there at the show. It was just like, to me, it just reminded me so much of 1990 sports cards myself. I bring my cards into the card show. Will anybody trade with me? What singles are out there that I could buy? Are there packs of 89 Pro Set there that might be a little bit less expensive than at the gas station? It was very interesting to watch that. And I do something similar with my youngest son, who's also into Pokemon, not as much as his buddy, but we do buy singles here and there of his favorite characters. I'm buying sealed Pokemon, and that's where we get into kind of the shift in what I've been doing in 2025 that I haven't done in previous years. I started December of 2024 buying sealed Pokemon products, and it's a really interesting world that I've learned there. I've been wanting to diversify kind of my trading card holdings, my collectibles holdings. If you watch the channel, you know that look behind me, I'm interested in all sorts of different things. I've got non-sports, I've got plenty of sports cards, I've got graded comic books, action figures, graded video games. I'm the 80s, 90s nostalgia nerd. So everything that's related to those eras, I'm in on it. Project I've talked about on the sports card side that I've really enjoyed is the binder project, where I'm buying cards for my childhood nostalgia cards, and it's 89 Hoops David Robinsons, and it's 92 Flair Ultra Shaqs. These are literally $1, $2 cards now, $3 cards, where I can get those cards, put them in a binder. I can look at the binder and really enjoy that. I think the one thing that people might look at and say, man, but what about sports cards? If you love sports cards, how come in 2025 you've bought less sports cards? And to be clear, I bought literally a 2014 Gold Prism Marcus Colston card less than 2 weeks ago. Sent it off to PSA to get graded. I like buying Saints players, my team, in gold prisms because it just goes so well. The black gold, and then it's a gold prism. And outside of Drew Brees, they're very affordable. I mean, Marcus Colston or Deuce McAllister, Pierre Thomas, these are guys that, for a gold prism, I can get them inexpensively. And especially even going back to, like, this one was 2014, which is, of course, more on the rare side as far as how many parallels are in that set. So I picked up that card as an example. So I am picking up sports cards here and there. I've been buying Caitlin Clark cards. I've got a pretty decent Caitlin Clark collection. And a big purchase I had this year is the Court Kings Star Jordan from his rookie season here, the number 26, the BGS 7.5. This was my biggest sports card purchase this year. And so I've certainly been buying sports cards, but if I'm being honest, when I look at the collectible space and I look at, okay, what are some things that I could add into if we're talking business, like, the overall collectibles portfolio, where I think that, this could really pick up value over time? It's sealed Pokemon. It's tried and true over time. And I'm not going to try to convince anybody. I'm not here to say like, get into Pokemon cards. Absolutely not. But I've been sharing my journey since day one here. People ask like, what are you up to? What are you doing? What are you targeting? And this was a big focus of mine as I moved into 2025. I looked at that space and it was something like, okay, I really want to have some exposure into this. I feel really great about my sports card collection. I think that's another thing, is just enjoying what I've got. That's part of the issue that I was having over time, is always constantly buying something new because I felt like I needed to just add something new to the collection. But I got a great sports card collection, and so part of that is, hey, just go back and look at what you already have. Not so worried about the future mail day, but hey, go back and flip through the binders. Go back and look through all the slabs. I've got some wicked stuff. Enjoy the stuff that I've got and that you've got. I guess that could be like a message of the day. A lot of us have some really cool stuff. And so just trying to kind of compartmentalize and just think, and understanding from a dollar and cent standpoint, I also want to be smart in my buys. And to me, it just felt like sealed Pokemon should just be more of a focus. If I'm really serious about stuff that I think is going to gain value over time, I got some great sports card stuff. I got great comic books and games. And Pokemon right now is the highest selling media property in the world. It is $100 billion a year of Pokemon products and movies and games and all sorts of things, shows, trading cards, even more so than Star Wars. It's absolutely incredible. So adding in Pokemon was kind of a no-brainer, and that's really what I've been doing. And so at this show, I ended up buying a sealed booster box case of Surging Sparks, which is Scarlet Violet Era SV8, and that was a pretty big purchase for me there. And basically what that is it's a sealed case of 6 booster boxes. Each booster box has 36 packs in it. You just buy it, hold it. Here it is right here. Just easy to store. This is what the individual booster boxes look like. If you're just buying one, this is Temporal Forces. This is a different set. So just examples of stuff buying, holding, and then over time, historically, sealed Pokemon has done pretty well. So while yes, I will be buying sports cards and other collectibles throughout the rest of 2025, I've budgeted $2,000 a month to sealed Pokemon for the foreseeable future. And that's just going to be kind of the game plan unless it makes sense to switch it up. I want to build up that side of my collection / long-term holdings. That's a 10, 15, 20-year hold for me. We'll see what happens. So let me know, guys, what are you doing now? How are you hobbying in 2025? Have you shifted gears a little bit in 2025 like I have? We're just kind of added in something new. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.